11 years earlier, Marconi had secretly prepared his attempt to bridge the Atlantic. At Poldhu, on the coast of southwest England, he built the biggest transmitting station yet seen. It took a year to complete, but he told no one what he planned. The antennas were damaged by winter storms, but at 12:30 one December day in 1901, he reported the weak reception of signals from 3,200 kilometers across the Atlantic.
Alle 12:30, ecco giungere al mio orecchio debolmente I segnali che venivano lanciati nello spazio dalla stazione di Poldhu sull'altra sponda dell'oceano.
His diary listed only the frequencies and, hardly legible, the times of reception. The sober record of a sensational feat by which he proved those scientists wrong who maintained that the radio waves would go off into space in a straight line. But long waves, with a wavelength of between 1,000 and 10,000 meters, go no higher than the ionosphere. The Earth's conductivity means they follow the curvature of the globe.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my Australian friends, it gives me very great pleasure to be able to take some part in your ceremony today, after nearly 20 years since I directed the transmissions from the high-powered station at Carnarvon, which resulted in the conveyance of the first direct wireless telegraph message to reach Australia from England and Europe. Over a considerable period, in fact, since the closing years of the last century, I had striven to give the world improved and cheaper means of communication by electrical transmissions through space. Not a little of this time had been devoted to the development of systems which would afford mariners a surer and safer aid to navigation, and thereby a larger measure of safety and security for the passengers who traveled with them. My work in the cause of navigators on sea and in the air is not yet finished. It is natural that I should also have devoted considerable time and research to methods which would bring distant countries of the world into closer and more intimate touch with one another. There were many people, some I am afraid of high technical achievement, who discounted my ideas. But encouraged by the results of my earlier experiments, and happily by so many who followed and appreciated my work, I could not be satisfied until my theories and ideas have been put to a practical test. In 1918, when I decided to make my first series of tests in an endeavor to reach Australia without the assistance of intermediate stations, I found Mr. Fisk, who is with you now, ready to bring to the experiment the wealth of knowledge and experience which he had accumulated. And on the 22nd of September of that year, 2 messages were transmitted from Carnarvon, from the Carnarvon station, by means of a 200 kilowatt multiple spark discharger, and received by Mr. Fisk without any error at the experimental wireless station attached to his residence at Wahunga, North Sydney. It should be noted that in the case of my first transmission across the Atlantic Ocean in 1912, and as in that to Australia, which is almost to the antipodes, the spark system was employed, which proves that the capabilities of electric waves to traverse worldwide distances was discovered by me long before the utilization of thermoionic valves for transmission over any similar great distances. On your monument today is recorded the test of the first radio telegram to reach Australia direct from England as the result of those experiments. In a very much shorter time than it takes to read it, that message had covered the approximately 12,000 miles or more in its travel from the homeland, and thus was laid the foundation of the speedy and highly efficient system of wireless communication which today connects you with the capital of your empire and with other countries, serving so well the interests of mankind. Australia is indeed to be congratulated for having still at its disposal the services of so distinguished an engineer as Mr. E.T. Fisk, whose skill and research have been of inestimable value in bringing your wireless communication to its present high level of efficiency. I send him my most cordial regards. In conclusion, may I say that it has given me genuine pleasure to be associated with the unveiling today of the Warunga Monument, to mark the now historic spot which had so important a part in my earlier experiments. It is indeed gratifying to me to know that the people of Australia appreciate the extent to which wireless has figured in their prosperity, for I firmly believe that without economical and efficient long-distance communications, no country can make much headway.
In radio, we try to speak in a modulated tone. Modulated is even, is medium, is calm, is middle of the road. It's a harmonization of waves. Modulation is a harmonization of lengths of waves going out. You try to get the waves lined up and going out even. In radio, we speak in waves. Radio is talking in waves. And radio is a radius, is a radio. A radius is a rod. It's how the Latins drew a circle, by putting out a rod and swinging it around. A radio is a circle. A radio falls out in a circle around itself. Talking on radio is talking in circles. And I'm talking to you in a broadcast. My voice is going out in all directions and falling in a circle. Broadcast goes out in every direction at once, and broadcast was invented by Marconi. Marconi was an Italian, but his mother was Irish, and he came to Cape Cod and he built 4 tall towers on the beach on a bluff overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. And there were waves on the beach, but Marconi was talking about waves in the air. Not waving your hand in the air, not a flag waving on the flagpole, but invisible waves we can't see. And he thought these waves, if we could find them, could carry a voice the way the ocean waves could carry a boat. And he was trying to get a message from Teddy Roosevelt to the King of England. And the men who were building the towers didn't know what Marconi was talking about. They could see the waves below them on the beach, but they couldn't see the waves you couldn't see. They didn't live yet in an electric world like us. They weren't yet electric men like us. But they were getting paid, so it didn't matter. And Marconi said it was very important to talk on the radio in a modulate tone. Even though the King of England was so far away, there was no need to yell. You talk like you're talking to someone right next to you. And in radio, there are 2 kinds of modulation. Amplitude modulation, or the size of the wave, and frequency modulation, or the speed of the wave. But I don't really understand how the difference works, because I'm like the tower builders. I have trouble seeing things I can't see. And Marconi wanted to talk around the roundness of the earth. He wanted to get his voice to go over the curve of the earth and in all directions, to many distinct places at once. And Hesiod was a poet who was a group of poets who lived a long, long time ago in ancient Greece. And Hesiod was a farmer, and Hesiod was a fisherman, and Hesiod was a house-building carpenter. And he would open up the earth each year to grow his family's food. And up above his head, he noticed the sky was spinning, always. The sky was always spinning. And he thought it was the earth a-whirl. He thought the earth was whirling. He thought the earth was whirling in space. He thought the earth beneath his feet was whirling in space, causing the sky to spin. And he wrote a series of poems explaining things to his younger brother. He explained about dizziness and the spinning sky and the whirling earth and how we all breathe the atmosphere and how we eat from plants to live, and about the past and the people of the past and what they did and what they've given to us. And he talked about history and deep history, and even deep, deep history, back before anyone can see or remember. And he sang a long song of how we came to come as the human race dropped down upon the earth. And Marconi always said, that talking on the radio was talking one-to-one. Radio was talking to one person at a time. There's no need to yell. There's no need to shout. Even if the distance is very far, or if the story told is very large, you talk like you're talking to one person at a time. Through the wonders of Marconi's broadcast, radio goes out in all directions within a circle, to be heard all together at once. But the words fall from the sky and into the ears of always one person at a time.
When the Titanic sank, 700 passengers owed their lives to the SOS message broadcast by the ship's radio operator. After this disaster, emergency frequencies were agreed worldwide. Cartoonists showed Marconi bartering for souls with King Neptune. 11 years earlier, Marconi had secretly prepared his attempt to bridge the Atlantic. At Poldhu, on the coast of southwest England, he built the biggest transmitting station yet seen. It took a year to complete, but he told no one what he planned. The antennas were damaged by winter storms, but at 12:30 one December day in 1901, he reported the weak reception of signals from 3,200 kilometers across the Atlantic.
Alle 12:30, ecco giungere al mio orecchio debolmente i segnali che venivano lanciati nello spazio dalla stazione di Poldhu sull'altra sponda dell'oceano.
His diary listed only the frequencies and, hardly legible, the times of reception. The sober record of a sensational feat by which he proved those scientists wrong who maintained that the radio waves would go off into space in a straight line. But long waves, with a wavelength of between 1,000 and 10,000 meters, go no higher than the ionosphere. The Earth's conductivity means they follow the curvature of the globe. Years earlier, Marconi had secretly prepared his attempt to bridge the Atlantic. At Poldhu, on the coast of southwest England, he built the biggest transmitting station yet seen. It took a year to complete, but he told no one what he planned. The antennas were damaged by winter storms, but at 12:30 one December day in 1901, he reported the weak reception of signals from 3,200 kilometers across the Atlantic.
Alle 12:30. Ecco giungere al mio orecchio debolmente i segnali che venivano lanciati nello spazio dalla stazione di Poldhu sull'altra sponda dell'oceano.
His diary listed only the frequencies and, hardly legible, the times of reception. The sober record of a sensational feat by which he proved those scientists wrong who maintained that the radio waves would go off into space in a straight line. But long waves, he replied, "Your Holiness must have a better idea than I. You are nearer to God. I don't know the answer." With the help of God, who has placed such mysterious forces at the disposal of mankind, I've been able to construct a transmitter which will carry the voice of the Holy Father to every part of the world.
Ai fedeli di tutto il mondo la consolazione di udire la voce del Santo Padre.